Welcome back, Chili Preppers. It is September 24th, about 7:30 in the morning. My rooster won't shut up, and it's 47 degrees outside. That temperature is dropping quicker and quicker, it feels like, every year. But what are we doing today? We're going to harvest our bell peppers and get these beds ready for cold weather crops. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, this isn't a bell pepper bed. This is a marigold bed. But look, let's take a look at it from a different angle. What happened was I interplanted my marigolds with my bell peppers, which I do a lot with different kinds of peppers. They seem to work well, and they do a good job at keeping bugs away. But my marigolds went crazy this year. If I remember right, this is 3 different marigold plants. One here, one here, one here, in a 6-foot long bed. And they have just taken over. But when we actually get down here, we've got 6 different bell pepper plants in here. Now I have a bed behind me and a bed to my right of bell peppers as well. We have green bell peppers, the emerald bell, we have yellow, and we have red. We don't have purple this year because, as you know if you've been watching my videos, my purple bell pepper seeds turned into Hungarian wax pepper. So if you don't know already, us as Americans, we tend to eat our vegetables underripe. Most of the world waits until they ripen up and actually turn their color. And most of your peppers out there, if you leave them on the vine long enough, they're gonna turn red. Even your green emerald bell. I've got one right here, let me show you. If you see there, that one's been on the vine for quite a while, and it is going to its red ripe color. So a lot of times, because it's underripe, a lot of people describe the green bell as being a little bit bitter. A lot of your green peppers have that bitter taste to them. They go a little bit sweeter with yellow, and then they're supposed to be the sweetest with the red. We're going to find that out here in just a little bit. In case you don't already know, peppers don't like cold weather. They've been cultivated and grown in very warm climates. And now that I'm in western Colorado and we're breaking below the 50-degree mark at night, I honestly don't know how much longer my peppers have. And I got to get these beds ready for the cold weather crops. I've got a whole bunch under the grow lights right now that I'm going to start hardening off to come out here in the beds to feed the chickens mostly. But in order to do that, I need the room. And like I've said before, space is at a premium in the Chili Prepper garden. A majority of us live in regular neighborhoods. We have normal sized backyards. We've got room, but we don't have these big sprawling backyards. So I pack as much into my backyard garden as I can. I use the entire backyard and all the way around the side of the house, and then I'm starting to use my property next door. And with raised beds, you've got a very specific amount of growing space. So you have to make those hard decisions and determine when it's time to get the summer crops out so you can hurry up and start getting cool weather crops in. I already did that with this bed. This was the big onion bed that's now the brassica bed, and they're thriving like crazy even after the big hailstorm, and you can still see holes in the leaves. They're growing giant, so I'm hoping for some really big broccoli and cauliflower this year. When you look down inside this big marigold bed, push it back and you'll find my bell peppers. This is a good representation. Check this out. So first things first, we got to get in here and cut all the bell peppers out and then start cutting the plant out. We do have some really nice bell peppers this year though. Now, if you're a new gardener, something you may not know is you can absolutely harvest the green peppers off of what's considered a red bell pepper plant. It's just a regular green bell, and that's why a lot of times in the grocery stores you're going to see that the green bell pepper is a lot cheaper. It's underripe, it hasn't been grown as long, and they can get it to the store quickly. They don't have to leave it in the ground in their farms for that extra long amount of time to be able to get it red, yellow, purple, that kind of thing. We've got 7 really nice red bell peppers off of this one plant, but I still have 2 or 3 that are still green. We're going to pull those, eat those as green bell peppers, and get the plant out of here so we can start prepping this bed. See what I mean? Still a perfect green bell pepper. And because of how cold we're getting, we're going to take the little guys too. Now I had a comment a while ago, someone, and I don't even remember which video it was on, but someone put a comment on there about what are they doing wrong with their bell pepper plants. They're only getting like 1.5 feet tall, something like that. A lot of your bell pepper plants don't get that tall. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one at the stem just to show you, because it's a little easier to see this way. This is all the bigger my bell pepper plant was right here. But we got 7 reds and 4 smaller but good greens. And I've done a harvest off of these ones before, so that one plant gave us quite a few peppers. So don't put too much into how big your plant is. Pay attention to what it produces. I'm going to grab a box. I'll go through and cut these out and be right back. Sometimes you get real lucky and you find a whole plant that you didn't even realize had gone over the other side because the marigolds covered them up. I had to stop and get that on camera though, because look at this. I didn't realize this entire plant had flopped over the front of the bed and was hanging there. It was still getting watered along with the rest of them. But that's an amazing find. Now that we got the pepper plants out, we can actually see how the marigolds were taking over the bed. My little garden guardian. But look at the stems on these marigolds. They're huge. And this is one horse trough. My horse troughs are 2 foot, just over 2 foot by 6 foot long. And this is the amount of peppers I got out of the final harvest. I told you, I don't go anywhere without my coffee. Now to be totally honest, I didn't expect to have this much out of one bed. So I think it's changed my mind on how I'm going to harvest today. I'm going to harvest this one bed. We'll see what I get on the freeze dryer trays. If I need more, I'll harvest the other beds, but I might just let them wait until my plants that are under the grow lights are ready to go outside. And we'll take a look at those here in just a minute. But I just rinsed off a green, a yellow, and a red bell pepper. And I want to see, because everybody talks about the green being bitter, the yellow being sweeter, and the red being the sweetest. I want to see if that's true. And you can't do kitchen work without a big ass knife. Okay. And I've told you before, I don't like eating on camera. I hate watching people eat on camera. I don't like the sound of someone eating anytime, near me or on camera. So I'm going to take the mic off, move it over there so you don't hear me crunching after I take the first bite. Well, that green one, actually, maybe because it's been on the plant longer than most of them, and it's gotten cold outside, it doesn't have that typical bitter taste that you get from the ones in the grocery store. Let's cleanse the palate. And we go yellow. Definitely sweeter. Much less of the pepper taste. Cleanse again. And red. Oh wow. That's really good. Definitely sweeter. What they say is definitely true. The red's the best tasting, by far. The reason I'm doing this, my wife says that peppers are really bitter. And I am one that, like when I make stuffed bell peppers, I've always used green. So I wanted to really find out if yellow and red's different. So tonight, I'm going to make stuffed red bell peppers. And let's see what her opinion is, and I'll let you know. And of course, finish it off with some coffee. Now let me show you how much I actually got out of that one bed. That's a hell of a lot of bell peppers. What would you do with this many bell peppers? I seriously did not expect to get this many out of that one 2x6 bed. So a quick rough count shows me that we got 55 bell peppers out of that one 2 foot by 6 foot bed. So it just gives you a really good idea that one of those beds with a bunch of bell pepper plants in it, well, there was 6, I think, bell pepper plants in it, can give you enough bell peppers, if you dry them or however you end up preparing them, is gonna give you bell peppers all year long. And just so you know, I typically only grow bell peppers every other year because of that. Wait, I had to amend that because of the 3 that I cut up. Now let me take a quick minute and show you the cold weather plants that I have started under the grow lights so you can kind of see where they are from the last video. I'll have to look and see how long ago it was that I did the video about planting the seeds. Looking at my labels, we have 6 kale, 6 spinach, 6 collards that are doing really well. I replanted those 4 that didn't come up. Then we have 6 bok choy, 6 Swiss chard, and 6 butter crunch lettuce. And of course, butter crunch lettuce back there in the Aero garden. And we're doing a little time lapse action for you later. And just in case we get any haters in the comments, you can see I did not pick this bed, and I did not pick the emerald bell pepper bed. So remember in earlier videos I told you, you plant a lot so you get more wins than you do failures in the garden every year. And Rocky agrees, we're going to call this one a win. And now you know as well as I know, it does go green, yellow, red in order of sweetness. And the red is now my favorite. Remember, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared. And I will see you on the next one.